It was very difficult to get through high school in this country without meeting Beaver Foods.
That's a tough business, that food business. So, you don't want to make a mistake there if you can avoid it, People don't forget a bad meal.
If there ever was a born leader, that's a cliche, but if there ever was a born leader, it was Alex McIntosh.
He was an officer and a gentleman in the truest sense. He was always the last guy to leave the party.
Alexander Ross McIntosh was born in Scotland in 1921. His family immigrated to Canada when he was just 3 years old, settling in Toronto where he attended school. Alex's first job at 16 was as a dishwasher for a chain of public cafeterias. In 1942, he joined the Army as a private and was seconded to the Gordon Highlanders.
He went ashore in the invasion of Europe with British troops. He served with the Highlanders from Canada, and then later when he came home with the RCR in the reserve position. But Alec McIntosh was a senior officer in the Army, and he transferred those military skills and all that discipline and leadership ability to his work within the community. So he was a major figure in war and in peace.
McIntosh remained with the active Reserve Army until his retirement in 1975, with the rank Brigadier General and Commander. He was made honorary colonel of the 4th RCR in London.
He was just, one of those warm, energetic people and would connect easily and quickly with the troops, and particularly with the more junior ranks, and just very well liked.
Following the war, Alex McIntosh worked as an executive in the food services industry. During that time, he married Elizabeth, and they raised 5 children, 2 daughters and 3 sons. In 1960, he went into business buying the Three Little Pigs Pantry restaurant at Warncliffe and Dundas with a colleague, Jim O'Rourke.
They were invited to cater to some events at Huron College and did such a good job at it that they were invited to make a proposal to do the residential food service. And that was the beginning of Beaver Foods. And that account is still managed by the successor company, now Compass Group, but that account is still in the hands of the original Beaver Foods business.
With Alex's leadership, the catering and food services business expanded to become Canada's largest private institutional food company. In the 70s, Beaver Foods was just one of 4 subsidiaries under the holding company, Signet Food Systems. Together, these companies were feeding an estimated 400,000 people daily, everyone from teenagers at high school, workers on the pipelines, and the elderly in nursing homes.
The company competed very successfully against subsidiaries of U.S. parent companies, 2 of them in particular, both of which were far larger than Beaver Foods was, yet we were able to do very well against them and actually became the largest Canadian food service operation. And he did it through managing people. We didn't have any proprietary systems or patents or anything like that. What we had was an organization. That was the organization that Alex built.
And people management was Alex's strength. He instituted one of the first employee benefit plans, and many who started with Beaver Foods never left.
I've seen people receive a 45-year service award in the organization. In a business where people move back and forth between companies, none of our competitors were successful in hiring away any of our management people over the years that I was there. And it was because Alex was able to instill such a level of loyalty into the group.
When his partner, Jimmy O'Rourke, died, Alex had an option to pick up Jimmy's shares, which may maybe 40% of the company. Alex chose not to do it, but to get the management group involved. And as a result, ultimately, when Alex passed away, the company it was owned by the senior managers. And it engendered incredible loyalty to Alex and to the company by all of those. In fact, I advised him against doing it. It was probably the dumbest advice I ever gave anybody. But he did it, and it worked wonders.
Throughout his business career, Alex McIntosh contributed much to his community. He sat on many boards and held many memberships in industry associations. One of his causes was the Memorial Boys and Girls Club, where he led a $1.4 million campaign.
One day, Norman Chapman, who was president of EMCO here in town, said, Alec McIntosh is raising money for the Boys and Girls Club for the big new main edition. And he said, Alec doesn't like the plans that the architect has drawn up. So Norman and I went out to see him, and I said, this won't work. So I said to Alex, I said, I'm going to take the building, I'm going to put the Boys and Girls Club, Boys and Girls operation at the front of the club. And I can take all the office people and put them at the back. And then I'll bring it to you for your approval. And so we got along wonderfully after that. And Alex went out and raised most of the money. And he and I got to be very good friends after that.
At the time of Alex's death, his companies employed more than 7,000 people with estimated annual sales of $150 million. He had made an indelible imprint both on London and afar, in business, in service for his country, in his community, and at home with his loving family.
One day at a meeting, I said something that I thought was amusing, and obviously the general didn't. And he gave me the look and said, boy, Brady, I sure wish I'd had you serving under me in my unit. I'd sure straighten you out in a hurry. Whether he knew it or not, he did straighten me out in a hurry. I came to respect him and regard him as a true mentor and a great citizen of this community.
I think he'd be very pleased to be recognized by junior achievement and join some of the other people on the wall, pictures on the wall here.
He was a real man. He was very straightforward. What I admired about him is he gave back to the city and the surrounding areas. He gave, he was not a taker, he was a giver. He would be an inspiration and should be an inspiration to a lot of the young, prominent businessmen we have coming up in London.
He was very proud of his family. In fact, shortly before he passed away, he told me how proud he was of his boys and his daughters, and very much so. A wonderful family man.
The late General Alexander Ross McIntosh, 2007 Laureate, London Business Hall of Fame.